Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My name is Manu, and this is my KI Season 3 mini-series going over our second character of this week, Saberwulf. Now, Saberwulf was always a character I loved aesthetically, visually. Everything about him was it just screamed gothic. And at the time, when of course you're a little kid and you see that shit, you're just like, man, that looks fucking cool, I gotta fucking play that. But either way, let's get on to it. So Saberwulf in this season got hit kind of hard, but we'll leave that on to later. So let's first go on with nerfs. Feral Cancel has a 30 frame longer cooldown and a new indicator when it's ready to use again. Leaping Slash startup slowed down. This move now hits on the 20th frame instead of the 14th frame. Fixed a bug preventing Feral Cancel from carrying over breaker windows for a few frames from the first previously moved correctly. Running Uppercut has 12 additional frames of recovery, but is still -2 on block and allows Wolf to break out early for all the same juggles with the same timing. Attack box size reduced. Eclipse damage and Shadow Eclipse damage has been reduced. 15% for the normal Eclipse, 35% for the Shadow Eclipse because you can juggle after it, and all Ender damage reduced by 15%. Saberwulf no longer gets any damage bonus during Instinct. He still deals chip damage with normals, however. The frame on which Wolf can cancel his dash into a special move has been moved from frame 14 to frame 16. Eclipse and Shadow Eclipse no longer autocorrect to turn around and face the opponent after a forward dash. Crouching HP starts up 1 frame slower so that you cannot use this heavy attack as a medium manual. Saberwulf's medium leaping slash linker now hits 2 times. Heavy leaping slash and heavy hamstring linkers now hit 3 times. Eclipse and Shadow Eclipse inflict less block stun, making them easier to punish. That's it for nerfs. We'll go on to that later, but let's go on to the buffs. So standing HK now causes stagger. The final hit of Ragged Edge and Shadow Ragged Edge now cause a ground bounce against airborne opponents for increased juggle opportunities. Crouching LK causes flip out. MK and HK versions of run move faster. Hamstring slide travels faster. And a new command move, Diving Slash. During jump up or jump forward, forward medium kick cannot be done from a back jump, has very few active frames but tend to leave Saberwulf roughly even with his opponent, and has the landing recovery of a normal jump attack, making it useful for repositioning. Alright, so let's go over Saberwulf's nerfs. Now, Feral Cancel has a 30 frame longer cooldown. This just basically means if you don't know what a cancel is exactly what it sounds like. You're able to cancel into certain other moves. So you can cancel a special into something or a normal into something. Kind of like how Tusk has the special cancel where you can cancel special into another special. Sort of like that. But this was a ability that allowed him to do technically it for everything. And what it was, or what it is now, is it's more of a tool to get extra damage off. It is more of a tool to increase your mix-ups in combo than it does seem in pressure, since it does have a longer frame cooldown where you can't really pressure as much. You probably still can, but from the point of view that I see it, it is more of a combo heavy move now, which isn't a bad thing because that's where Saberwulf really strides. So Leaping Slash startup has been slowed down. The move now hits on frame 20 instead of frame 14. This basically was a online nerf, and what I mean by online nerf is that people were getting hit by this shit way too fucking much. And that's because it's a really good overhead. I mean, 14 frame startup and active is pretty good for an overhead, especially when you have a giant dog leaping at you. So it's not a big nerf. In exhibitions, it doesn't look too bad. It's more noticeable, and that's basically what they wanted. It's just a more noticeable move, especially for online play. Fixed the bug that prevented Feral Cancels from carrying over breaker windows for a few minutes. So this just means that the window that the cancel would happen would actually overlap the previous move, meaning that you couldn't break it. Basically it. Running Uppercut has 12 additional frames on recovery, but is still -2 on block. So they did this because it's the same thing as nerfing his pressure. The -2 on block is still really good. Actually, it's pretty damn good for a running move that is technically a special. And that's basically what it is now. Running Uppercut is a special, and that's what the 12 frames of additional recovery is for. It's just to allow enemies, if he whiffs it, to punish him a little bit easier, because certain characters had a pretty hard time to actually punish it. So the Eclipse damage got reduced by 15. This goes in line with what his with the damage pass as well as the Shadow Eclipse damage. Now that one got passed over pretty hard by 35%, like I said before. Jago is a good example where it's like 10 to 7% is not a lot. It's because of the juggle potential after it. That's the reason why they nerfed it so hard. And then all ender damage got reduced by 15%, just a damage tuning that you'll see in almost every single character in this season. Saberwulf no longer gets any damage during bonus instinct. He still deals chip damage with normals, however. This is a big thing, and this is the reason why a lot of people felt Saberwulf was gimmicky, because not only out of his mix-ups and his pressure, but also with his instinct. You had pressure from the Pharaoh cancels, you had damage when he hit you, you had chip damage when he hit you. It was pressure city for this character, so they nerfed it, and unfortunately, I personally feel like Saberwulf needs a teeny bit, just a little bit of damage during his bonus instinct, because it was a really cool instinct, but I understand where this is coming from. So the frame on which Saberwulf can dash cancel into his special has been moved from frame 14 to 16. This is just a way of saying that Saberwulf can no longer just run and immediately run and jump at you. It has to be a little bit longer before you can do that. Eclipse and Shadow Eclipse no longer autocorrect. This makes it a little bit easier to stop his gimmicks, because it was pretty hard to react to if he dashed in, did Shadow Eclipse or normal Eclipse, because it would hit you on the first thing. It's just one of those timing and timing things. Just like how the move hits on frame 20 instead of frame 14 now. Crouching HP starts up 1 frame slower so that you cannot use this heavy attack as main manual, just like Jago. Saberwulf's medium leaping linker now hits 2 times, heavy leaping slash and heavy hamstring linkers now hit 3 times. This is pretty self-explanatory. It was just one of those things where it was an aesthetic thing where instead of hitting you 1, 2, 3, it was like 1, 2, 3, so the timing on it was just a little wonky, so they changed it to this, so where it hits you 1, 2, 3. Eclipse and Shadow Eclipse inflict less block stun, making it a bit easier to punish. This is just for characters who had a really tough time to punish it, because it did at a certain point almost seem safe, especially for characters like Thunder who were trying to punish him unless they had to like punch or do something, you know. So now moving on to his buffs. So standing HK now causes staggered. This is a good thing because Saberwulf, if you've never seen My God, has always been a very footsie based Saberwulf, and this not only plays into My God's realm of, oh shit, I can play footsies and be really good, it also plays into what Saberwulf has always been pretty decently strong at. And so what standing HK does now is stagger, which allows you to basically combo into it. The next one is final hit of Ragged Edge and Shadow Ragged Edge now cause a ground bounce against airborne opponents for increased juggle opportunities. This is actually really cool because, as I said before, KV meter is gone from ground bounce, which makes it basically a lot of possibilities that Saberwulf can have for juggle opportunities. And this is why I was saying before that the uppercut is still pretty decent. Crouching LK now causes flip out. This is just a mix-up tool for Saberwulf. It's just to fix a couple of the issues he had and give him a little bit more of that honest mix-up instead of a gimmicky mix-up. MK and HK versions of Run move faster. This is actually really good for Saberwulf because it allows him to get across the screen very fast. And when I say fast, I mean incredibly fast. I'm talking from, it goes from probably 5 seconds to like 2 seconds. It's incredible how fast this character can actually get across the screen. Hamstring slide travels further. This is so that he can actually get under projectiles. And his newest move, diving slash. Now diving slash is one of those moves just like Jago. It not only increases his mix-up opportunity because it keeps him about even with your opponent, it also allows him to have better positioning, crossover people, and yes, he can crossover with it without hitting anyone, as well as the ability to just pressure somebody like Glacius who's maybe trying to, you know, use his medium punch or something. This is exactly what he needed. I actually got to talk to UL Flash, who is one of the best Saberwulfs in the world, and I asked him, I was like, what do you think of Saberwulf after the buffs? After the buffs and nerfs, what do you think? He goes, honestly, I felt Saberwulf was going to get nerfed this way, but now the more and more I actually look at Saberwulf, the more I see this is the way he should have always been. Now he can actually get past a lot of the zoning that other enemies can do against him to keep him out, such as Conra, Glacius, Spinal, and makes it a little bit easier for him to actually get in. And I sat there and I was like, okay, I could see it even after all the bad stuff. So in general, Saberwulf is a character that I would say you're going to have a tough time with him in Season 3, but he's going to be one of those characters that when you actually do something smart, when you actually play a little bit smarter, play better in the neutral than the other person, when you actually get in and actually start pressuring, you're not only going to get rewarded, you're also going to be able to get that damage that Saberwulf quote-unquote is missing now. So Saberwulf, even though they got nerfed a little bit too harshly in some aspects in mine, the more and more I look at it, the more I see Saberwulf actually being an incredibly strong character. And I hope more people actually pick him up. He's very easy to use. This is for all you new people who want a recommendation for a character. Very easy to use. He's very, I don't want to say button mashy. He is very good for people who are new to the game, who maybe don't know how the game works and just wants to press buttons and stuff like that. Not saying you're a button masher, just throwing it out there. So yes, this character is very good for new players. He is a charge character, just to let you know if you have a preference. But other than that, guys, hopefully I'll see you in the next one with Glacius. Show's over, guys. Thank you all for coming in. My name's Manu. Peace.